Oh, good. It just froze for no reason. I guess that makes this part 3. So there's a not totally well-known theory of sexuality for human beings called the gay uncle theory that explains why, or attempts to explain why some people are gay. Aw, I can't have you barking. At least you seem happy. And that basically comes down to the fact that some human beings express homosexuality so that in a tribe there will be more mother types to help raise young and like manage the actual community. Well, the more traditional like masculine gender roles are filled by more masculine types, and then the more feminine gender roles are fulfilled by more feminine gender types. And I'm not gay. I know most people don't believe me when I say that, especially a lot of my friends that may or may not be listening to this video. I'm not at all attracted to other cisgender males, but I've always sort of filled that role, even way back in like high school and stuff, as like the gay friend. In like, I went to a performing arts high school that was full of mostly girls, and even though I had like crushes on some of them and wanted to date some of them, most of the time I would just end up being their friend and help them deal with problems of like dating other more masculine men who are, you know, are also kind of the stereotypical jerk type. And then they would call me and I would come over and we would eat ice cream and watch movies and stuff. So in that regard, and then also if I move into my brother's house, it will be basically me and my mom taking care of the grandkids, essentially fulfilling the role proposed in this theory of the gay uncle, who is essentially just somebody who helps manage the family unit, helps take care of the kids and all the other stuff. And that's basically what I'll be doing, which I don't want to do. That was not the goal of my life, essentially, but there's some small amount of fulfillment that comes from the fact that there is that sort of recognized role in the like familial unit and the tribe, is to just like manage the familial unit and the tribe and just help make sure that the kids are taken care of, and that, you know, that kind of thing. And I would bet that without those types of support groups and those support like units, that society as a whole would have evolved very differently or completely collapsed by now. So there's a quiet sense of nobility in knowing that at least for the next year I'll be fulfilling that role. But again, that point is so far over here when I was here and I was trying to get to here, that there is a bit of a sort of cognitive dissonance, a bit of an uncomfortable disconnect. So I guess that's just all I was thinking about over the last couple weeks, that kind of thing. And I really have to give props to Jaden Animation, because I've been watching a ton of her videos in the last last couple of days, just sort of trying to keep myself entertained when I didn't want to go outside and didn't have anything to do inside. So watched YouTube videos for like 16 hours yesterday. So I want to give thanks to her, because without watching a bunch of those videos I wouldn't even have had the thought to have been like, you know what, I'm just gonna go make a video today and I'm just gonna talk about all the things. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So here I am Oh, that dude's cologne sounds super familiar. Smells super familiar. Synesthesia. That's not synesthesia, I just said the wrong thing. Although I do have a very small amount of synesthesia. One of my friends didn't believe me, so I had to show him my test results. But anyway, so without Jade Animations, I wouldn't even have thought to make this video. And it was like, she just basically does videos like this, except of course well edited, scripted, cut down, and then animated. But there is a great amount of mental health that comes from talking out your thoughts, which is something that I've done here on YouTube for 15 years, 14 years, I forget how long it's actually been. Hello.
Must be a good movie.
I'm making a movie.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, video blogging isn't something that I do regularly anymore. It's not something that I think about doing regularly anymore. I've really come to dislike editing video and the whole process, because that's not what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to tell other people what to do in order to make the stuff that I want to have made. Basically, be a director in directing how things go. But so there's still a lot of benefit in making a video like this, which I'm sure if you are on YouTube, you know who Shane Dawson is, especially with his recent resurgence to like extreme popularity. But back when I met him once, I called him Sean. It's actually on this video channel if you want to find it. I tend to mix up my words a lot, but he's got his start on YouTube doing videos like this for himself and his therapist, basically just like trying to get over some mental issues and using video blogging as a form of therapy, which is kind of what I'm doing now. So it's not an uncommon thing to see on YouTube, and for a lot of people it's worked out really well for them. Man, my arm is just absolutely falling asleep. Hello. Man, maybe I should take another moment to relax for a little bit, but hand falling asleep. I was gonna clip it to the fence, but I actually have to get going back home because I got some stuff to do. So what I'm doing now, walking back to my house, my parents are getting rid of a lot of their furniture and everything else, so I have to be there to like open the garage, give the people the stuff that they have advertised, and then take their money, I guess. So that's why I'm trying to get back home, even though I should take a break. So even with perfect financial freedom, even if I were to go back down to southern Utah where I want to be and hang out with my friends on the days that they're free in real life and all that kind of stuff, I would love that. It would be great. But you know, they're frequently busy and they've got stuff to do. And so, like, I guess that's just the hi buddies. I guess that's just the nature of growing up and having your own life and everybody else getting their own lives. is that if you don't make a point to put energy into staying together, eventually everybody just sort of drifts apart. And I've been very fortunate in so many ways that, like, pretty much any friends that I've ever made that I want to keep in touch with, at any point I can just be like, hey, let's get together, and at some capacity everybody will try and make an effort to get together. Even though I've had disparate and separate groups of friends, I see all of them usually at least once a year, right? And that's not everybody. I have some friends up in like Seattle and stuff that I don't see very often, but in Oregon, those kinds of places, but like I still try and talk to them, text and everything else. But I guess the thing that comes to mind once I've reached this point in the thought process is that eventually it seems highly likely that I won't have so many things taken care of for me, right? Even during what is one of the most insane like challenges that I have ever faced, to the point where like anybody I know that hasn't had significant trauma basically hasn't even come close to facing challenges that's difficult, is moving into a country by yourself where you can't read and don't speak the language. Even that, I had some amount of support from the people who were hiring me, as well as other people who were working the same job at the time, and some friends over there, and that kind of thing. I mean, I could do that again super easy right now because I've already done it once, but my first experience moving out of my parents' house, like I hadn't even done my own laundry at that point. I moved into a country where I don't speak the language, where I can't read or write the language, and I could understand just a tiny amount. So it was just me walking around like this, except that if something went wrong, you know, I had to figure it out. So that really took all the fear out of me in just about everything, right? Like, I'm not really afraid of anything anymore, although I am quite concerned with what will happen in the event of like a family tragedy or something. It's one of the things that me and my therapist talked about. He was like I was really quite depressed back then, so we had a bit more to talk about, but like, what would I do if like my grandma and my mom and dad all like died in a tragedy or something? I mean, right now it seems likely that I would live with my brother, but even that doesn't seem like, you know, the greatest solution or whatever. So what would I do? And aside from just like, I guess I would just have to try a lot harder to make, you know, any of the same ideas that I always come up with to make money. Like, I guess I would just be homeless, right? And that doesn't seem like a good idea. Plus, I'm sure I'm not so disliked amongst my family. Everybody seems to like me enough that I could probably land on some couches for a little while. But I wouldn't want to do that just because I don't like feeling like a mooch, you know? I don't even like living with my family because it makes me feel like a mooch, and I don't like that feeling at all. But, you know, that's something that I've had to get over in the last couple of years too, And I'm in a much more comfortable place about it now, you know, accepting help and that kind of thing. But so that concern comes up every so often, which is like, what would I do if I wasn't financially taken care of, and in at least as far as like having a place to be and basically, you know, having food. I try and eat pretty healthy and that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I have had the thought maybe I would go to Japan and just do like pilgrimages, try and help people along the way, like real Golden Boy style, but which is an anime from like the 80s, I think, maybe early 90s, which if you haven't seen, I haven't seen all of it either, but like the premise of the show is there's basically a guy that just goes around trying to learn everything he can. Hello. And then basically he just tries to help people with what he's learned. And that's probably more of a fantasy than anything, but it is technically an option. I could probably do that. But like, what would I do? What would you do? Right? You have severe chronic onset insomnia and narcolepsy, so you can't work a normal job. You can't get officially diagnosed with those things because the amount of testing required is so far outside your budget that it just is completely impossible. So you can't get any financial help from the government. Besides, you'd probably have to hire a lawyer to take care of all of that kind of stuff anyway, which again is financially improbable. You're very clearly mentally stable, capable of working, but you can't be anywhere. Hello. Good. You can't be anywhere at a specific time in order to make that type of job work. Can't do physical, like lifting labor beyond a couple pounds for more than an hour or so at a time per day. Hello. Due to some like spinal abnormalities, not to mention the fact that your body doesn't make any of its own testosterone or estrogen or pretty much any other hormone. So you can't develop enough muscle to like go do construction and that kind of stuff. I could do like cleanup, probably clean up like drywall and that kind of thing for a couple hours, maybe make a few bucks a day. So anyway, this is just a lot of the stuff that I think about in the last little while. Maybe I could get a tablet and learn to do some animation. Maybe I could finish a script or learn to paint and sell the paintings. Hi, buddy. And some happy pups. Hi, buddy. What you doing, little ones? My hand is so freaking cold. My face is starting to get even colder now too. Even though I think it's actually warming up, it's hard to tell. I can't exactly see the temperature. Hi, little pups. Hi, little dogs. Rug, rug, rug. Happy little dogs. I love dogs. I like animals, I've come to discover. I was talking to my friends the other day about like cats, and I frequently hear people talk about like how cats shed, and that's one of the reasons they prefer dogs, even though dogs shed just as much as cats. And there are also breeds of cats that don't shed very much, as well as like medicines that you can give them so they don't shed as much, which I would never do. Don't recommend doing that. But even in that like realm, there's always the joke of like, at least cats and dogs people agree that birds are stupid, because they're loud and annoying and they crap on everything. But I would probably even like birds. It's like animals. I like everything. And that's one thing that I have noticed. People who are like really dedicated dog people don't like cats, but people who are really dedicated cat people also like dogs and also get along with just about everything else. There's only a very few amount of people I've ever met who are like cats yes, dogs no, and those people are weirdos. All the people I've met are like that, are just like bafflingly confusing. Hello. Hello. Alright, well, I'm almost home and I've been talking for over an hour, so. Hello. So, I'm gonna head home and take care of my daily responsibilities and upload these. I think it's gonna have to be 3 separate videos because the one video split and then it accidentally turned off. So it'll be like a 40-minute episode and 2 20-minute episodes. Part 3, super long video blogs. It's almost like listening to a podcast. Maybe I should start a podcast. I could do a podcast, just talk about something for an hour. Clearly that's not very hard for me to do. Just gotta find topics that people want to listen to me ramble on about. That might actually be a pretty good idea. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching, or listening in this case. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out over the last, whatever it's been, 14, 15 years. I forget. It's like June 2006, I think, is when I started my channel. So, it's been a long time. Also, I think my grandma is at my house right now, so. Oh, maybe that's the people who are coming to grab the thing. Is it 10 o'clock yet? It's 9:43. It must be early. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Have a wonderful time, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.